Hello everybody, welcome to another Geo-Detective. Got 3 sets of images for you. We're going to start with this one here, which was posted to r/pics, just some sky pictures from my paper rounds. So immediately I start taking a look at this, just trying to see if I can find any localisms. Localisms are the term for items in a photograph that would help us to reduce it to a certain geographic location, such as certain local businesses, local logos, sports teams, things like that are particular to different nations, like their license plates, and so on and so forth. And this photo doesn't seem to have a whole lot of them. I mean, I noticed right away the zigzag lines and the speed limit sign, which tells me that it's, probably UK somewhere with all of that, plus the license plates are yellow, so somewhere in the UK most likely. It's just a question of where. And then I noticed the streetlights here are kind of unusual. They have a curve in them rather than being 2 parts that are assembled together. It looks like one pole that is bent at a 90-degree angle, and then there's a flat light on the end of it, and that seems pretty unusual. So I tried searching for that, but I didn't really end up getting where. But eventually, oddly enough, I look for the building itself, and I find an article about a Papa John's closing, and sure enough, I find the old Papa John's there, which is in our image, and I managed to figure out the angle of the photograph from there. So I see that there's a gate in the bushes, and we back up a little bit. I match the dustbin. I match the speed limit sign. Unfortunately, the shoe in the image isn't there. But yeah, sooner or later, I managed to pinpoint it to right that location right there. Near 206 Grimsby Road, Cleethorpes, England. Next, I find an image here of a street sign, a walk, don't walk sign, somewhere. It just says Bungee. I search for the image, and I find that this image has been all over the place on the internet. There's all kinds of people making jokes about it, and this and that and the other. I start searching through some of the social media posts, hoping that I'll be able to find the original post, and then therefore with the poster maybe find their location or something. And that doesn't seem to pan out right away, so then I start looking for the other localisms, which in this case are largely the street signs and the businesses in the background. The no parking sign looked particularly unusual to me, so I tried to see where I could find that. I end up in a couple of countries, but that just doesn't work. I tried the bus sign, because also that particular bus with the segmented back window also seems like it's pretty rare. And I actually do find the sign, but it seems like it's used in a lot of places in the Balkans, so it doesn't really help me out there. I tried searching the don't walk sign itself, the man hanging from the cord. Eventually, I managed to narrow it down to Romania. By going through Serbia and Bosnia and stuff, but eventually I do find out that it's Romania, and I managed to narrow it down. I spend a lot of time looking into the businesses in the background. There's 2 of them that are visible. It took a little bit of searching in order to figure out exactly what they are, but there's Pharmacia Dona, and then there's CLB Libraries, so a bookstore and a pharmacy right next to each other. So I spent way too long looking at all of the locations for these businesses and trying to figure out if I could find a place where the 2 of them were right next to each other. And to be honest with you, I found there were so many. I spent a long time looking at all of these, and it didn't end up panning out anyway. I don't know if there was just too many, and maybe I just didn't see it. So I go back to my first idea eventually, and I go back to searching for the whole image and going through social media posts, because at this point I figured, here I am looking for all the different pharmacies, and I'm going location to location to location, and I'm just not seeing a building, because it looks like a 1-story building in our photo. I'm not seeing a CLB and a pharmacy right next to each other. Nothing is really matching with any of the landmarks here in the photograph. And I'm really surprised, because there's so many localisms in just this small photograph. There's the businesses, there's the signs, there's the VC marker, I don't even know what that is. There's the marker, the sign down at the bottom. But here I am wasting more time looking for Pharmacia Donna and walking down streets trying to see if I can find a building that seems like it matches. I was sure that this was going to be my path to success, because a localism like that, where you can see two businesses, you can almost never beat that in terms of finding a location. Even businesses that are closed, that's exactly how I found the location in the first picture. It was a business even though it was closed. So just very surprising that this didn't work out for me. So, there's so much time just looking at pharmacies. I mean, I was on this because there's not that many locations. Like, when I searched it up, there's like a dozen or so locations in Romania, and they're only in Romania. So I knew that I was in the right place because I had already figured out it was Romania. I just had to figure out where. And the fact that they were only based in Romania, and there was only about a dozen locations, I was like, this is going to take no time at all. All I got to do is find this pharmacy, and I'm going to find this location. But it was just not working out for me. And I'm almost certain, because there is still a Pharmacia Donna at that location on the maps now, when I find it, I'm almost certain that I probably passed it or looked at it a couple of times without even realizing that I was in that location. So it wasn't until I was finally able to find a social media post that eventually I was able to break this one. But here I am just wasting more time. Now I'm looking for the library and the pharmacy. Just the library. I did look through almost all of the libraries as well. Just a ton of time spent doing this. I mean, we're going to get there eventually. I know we will. And here I thought, okay, maybe I have found it. I just can't see it from the street. Because, I mean, looking at the image, this could be a walkway. This doesn't necessarily mean it's the main road here. I mean, clearly there's somebody walking on the sidewalk, and I think that there's a road nearby because there's a street sign there and the don't walk sign. So there must be a street there. I can't see it, but maybe it's not on the street. Maybe there's some trees in the way or something. And Romania has lots of streets like that where there's a walkway and then trees and then the road itself. But that's the process here. We just identify, whatever we can home in on that is particular to this photograph, right? We're just looking for something that is different about this. All right, so I found a Horizont Square, but I'm looking for Horizont Square, and I find Horizont Plaza, and so on. All of these are in Bucharest, by the way, but I'm still not finding the area. I don't know if Horizont is a larger area than, or maybe a more common name, perhaps, but it's just not close enough. And I know it's not the plaza, but at this point I'm just kind of looking. So then I go back, and I'm looking for social media posts again. Here I am going post after post just to see if I can find something. And then eventually I find this Scenic Depictions of Slavic Life. Can you guess the place? Posted to Facebook. And there are plenty of people that did know it. Bucharest, Romania. And it is Horizont. And they give me a specific address, and there we go. We got it. 18 Drumul Tavere, Horizont, Bucharest, Romania. There's our street light. It's been repaired since the photo was taken, and it's still got the sign there for whatever that is. It's still got the bus sign. It's still got the VC sign, and all of that is still there. So we got it. Now this one is really interesting because I used a method that I have not tried before. So here we are. Somebody posted some pictures they took out of an airplane. And I was curious to see, can I triangulate a position from the stars? And I thought this would be a good exercise for that. So I did find astrometry.net, and I threw the photos in there because it seemed to do what I wanted it to do. Like, it would determine from this position of the stars where the image was taken, but it wasn't working, and I didn't understand why. So I spent some time actually researching this method. So I read a couple of white papers, a couple of news articles about it, some people talking about it, just to try and understand the process. And that's when I realized, okay, the issue is that there's too much unnatural light in these pictures. So I started to search with them, and when they failed, I imported them and cropped them down to just the star fields. And that did the trick. I was able to use those to determine their locations fairly easily after that, with the exception of the last picture, the last location that was posted. And I had to make that one even smaller because there was too much light pollution. So I had to trim that down even more. And I was concerned that at that point I didn't have enough of the night sky to be able to identify it, but it surely was not an issue. So the first location done, I go ahead and I see if I can find the declination, reverse that projection of the sky back down to the earth. And I know that this is not going to be where they were standing because they're pointing their camera out over the land and the water. So they're actually taking a picture of the sky that would be not above them, directly above them, but adjacent to them. But that's okay because we can still do the math on that as well. I do a search. Here's the sky view. So this is the part of the sky that they were at, and all we need to do then is just do a little math here, and we can work out more or less the angles, and then go ahead and put that into Google Earth to get that position. So this is still the first one because, again, I've never done this before, so I'm figuring it out as I go, and I finally arrived at the solution. So here is technically the last picture. I'm doing it first. Here is the second picture, which would be the middle, regardless of which one you look at first. And when I say the last picture, I mean in the post on social media, it was the last location, the middle location, and then the first location. And there's our second location, near Panama. Which leaves the third, which is the one that was causing me the most problems because I had to trim that down so much. But eventually we'll get that one too. So at this point I know that it's not an airplane. Obviously, even if I hadn't seen the social media post, I would know it was an airplane. It just is a shot from an airplane window. So it did find it, and there we go. I can show you how much I had to crop it there. Basically the entire top third is all I was able to keep. All right, so picture 3, it started out above Florida. Then the second picture above the Caribbean Sea near Panama. And then the last location directly above Panama. And since it is all at night, there doesn't seem to be any other shots or layovers. I know that from the direction of travel, probably looking at a southbound flight after dark, a window seat facing west, because that's the portion of the sky that they took a picture of. There's only one carrier for nonstop flights. That's Copa Airlines. And that says it's a Boeing 737. There's no wing visible in any of the photographs, so they were sitting in first class, row F1 through 4. So nonstop flight. Orlando to PTY, Copa Airline first class, F1, 2, 3, or 4 is the seat number. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I hope that you had some fun. And we'll see you next time.